and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl here, Stephanie, in the building. So if you are just seeing my face for the first time and you don't know me, I am Stephanie. Do subscribe to my channel, turn on your bell notification for new video every week. So guys, there will be some renovation should I say, or some modification to my channel, because I have noticed on my channel I talk about immigration, and I have not been putting a lot of lifestyle videos or beauty videos on my channel, and I've noticed that the immigration videos that I have been putting out have not been getting a lot of views like I would expect, and my channel has been really slow when it comes to building my channel. I've been on YouTube for about a year now, and I know I've not been consistent. My content have not been consistent whatsoever, but my channel has been very slow on growing. So what I'm trying to say is that I would start putting up some more like talk videos, different topic and different things. I'll be doing different things on my channel just to see where it gets the channel. And I would also be putting up the immigration advice and studying in the UK, being a student, all that will still be there, but I would be spicing it up, I'll be mixing it up, I'll be renovating it. So guys, stay tuned. Do subscribe to my channel, share my videos, turn on your bell notification, like, comment. I've noticed you guys don't comment so much on my videos. You know, please, I would like to see your comments. I would like to see, I would like to hear what you think. And I think that is why I want to also spice it up as well, so that I can also have that interaction with you guys. I would try to get topics that you guys will be willing to share, or you guys will be willing to say something, so we can share ideas and talk about it and all that. So that's all for the introduction. I'm just going to dive into it now. So today I will be speaking about the 10 things that I have learned from living in the UK for 10 years. So if you're watching this video, this must be this must either be the 7th of April or past the 7th of April, because I moved down to the UK on the 7th of April 2011, and the 7th of April this year made me 10 years in the UK. A decade, guys. A whole decade of my life I have lived in the UK. I think it makes it sound really massive when you say a decade. When you say 10 years, it's like, yeah, 10 years. But when you just put it in the perspective of a decade, you're like, oh, ooh, it's a decade. Oh, it's a decade. Okay, can you hear that? Like, I feel like I want to let everybody know. Well, so I'll be telling you guys 10 things that I have learned from being in the UK for a decade. You will keep hearing this, a decade. So guys, point number 1. Sorry, I've written them out on this piece of paper so I don't forget anything. So I'll just be looking at the paper just for bullet points, and then I'll be telling you. So point number 1 is conversation about the weather. The weather is a topical. So British people likes to talk about the weather, and I understand why they like to talk about the weather. Where I come from in Nigeria, you either ask someone, hey, how is the weather outside? It rain, Sunday, wetin I go wear? Ma carry umbrella, or I need to take taxi, or you know, those sort of things. It's not a full-blown conversation. We don't talk like have a conversation about the weather. But one thing that you would get here in the UK is the fact that people have a full-blown conversation about the weather. And sometimes I'm like, really? Seriously? What is there to say about the weather? What can I contribute to you guys? Like, what can I really tell you about the weather, apart from the fact that it's raining or it's not raining? Like, it's either raining or not raining. So what else is there to talk about the weather? And sometimes I find it quite cringy when people talk about the weather around me, because I'm like, there's nothing to talk about. But the reason why British people talk about the weather is because it kind of eases tension in the room. So it kind of break the ice of having a conversation. It kind of break the ice of getting into a conversation. They are not as easy to start a conversation as we are. Like we Nigerians, I would say, we Nigerians, we are just like, hi, how you there? Talk, then we'll start talking about stuff, right? But British people are not like that. They would use the weather to kind of then break the ice in the room, or relieve tension, or not want to offend you. So the weather conversation comes out really handy, and I feel like most of the time that is why they talk about the weather, which I find very strange. The next thing I have learned from living here for a decade is tea and coffee. Tea or coffee? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of coffee? It's a thing. Where I come from in Nigeria, you either drink tea or you drink coffee for breakfast. So you use your tea to eat bread or eat fried yam or eat whatever you have to eat. Like it's a whole package of breakfast, right? But here people will drink tea in the morning, they will drink tea in the afternoon, they will drink tea in the night. Some people drink tea like water. Some people don't drink water, they just drink tea. So I find that quite strange. When I first came here, I was like, wow, okay. You go to somebody's house and they would actually offer you a cup of tea as something to welcome you. Why back in Nigeria, you go to somebody's house, you'll be offered jollof rice, orange juice, kunu, zobo. You'll be offered things like that. Sometimes I go to somebody's house here and they're like, would you like a cup of tea? And I was like, no, bring the fried rice, please. Bring the jollof rice, please. Like, cup of tea, really? And most of the times I'm like, I don't take hot drinks. I want my dentures, my teeth to be clean. I want them to be white. I don't want them to be brown. So having a cup of tea, it's something that the British people, they love their tea. They love their afternoon tea. They love their tea so much. So that is something that I found quite different. The next thing I found different is the weddings. Guys, coming from Nigeria as a Naija babe, like weddings in Nigeria are just really elaborate. If you know Nigeria, if you know Nigerians, we like to go big or go home. When you have a wedding in Nigeria, it's elaborate, it's big. It's not strictly on invitation. Over here in the UK, you have to be invited. You have to have your invitation card to go for somebody's wedding. That is something that I found quite weird, because I would like, it's your wedding, it's your day. Anybody should be able to come. You should be able to come for your wedding. Celebrate with everyone as much as you want to, but it's not like that here. You have to be invited to go for somebody's wedding. So over in Nigeria, a wedding, anybody can just turn up. Even people walking down the street can just go in and peep and see what's happening. Sometimes you even see people photobombing at the background of the pictures of your wedding, and these are random people that you don't even know. Everybody is invited. Anybody can walk in. I've never been to a wedding in Nigeria where before you walk in, you have to show your invitation. I've never been to a wedding. Maybe celebrity weddings or special dignitaries weddings, fine. But on a normal person, my friends or a friend of a friend, sometimes you go for a wedding and you're like a friend of a friend of a friend. You don't even know the couple, but you're just like invited by an invitee, and it just goes like that. So I find that quite weird coming to the UK, and minding your own business. If you're not invited for a wedding, you don't go. That is why I have not really been to a lot of weddings here in the UK, because I think that's a different topic. British people don't really end up married. Like they don't really have that kind of mentality of getting married. You have to go to a certain point, get to a certain stage in life. Marriage is not really a big deal here, not like we Nigerians. So I think that's a topic for another day. But yeah, you have to be invited to go for a wedding here. Another thing that I noticed with British people is that not everybody that smile at you actually cares. Not everybody that smile at you actually really care about you, really. Like, you'll be walking on the street and you see someone, they'll be like, hi, you're right, hi, hello. But they don't really care. Like, they will just smile because it's like a courtesy thing. But it's not like, and sometimes people smile at you and they ask you you're right, and then they don't, they ask you if you're okay, but they don't want to know if you're really okay. They don't really care to know if you're really okay. It's just like a normal word that they just drop in there, you're right, but they don't really care. Like, I don't think they prepare themselves for you to say no. They already know in their head that you're either going to ignore them or you're going to say, yeah, I'm good, or you know, it's just a normal thing that people would just say, yeah, I'm all right, but nobody ever says no. Because sometimes I'm like, what if you say no? What would they do? They would actually do nothing. They would just walk past you, because they have not really asked you if you're okay, because they really care to ask you that. They've just done the smiling and asking you that just because it's a courtesy thing. Unlike we Nigerians, as a Nigerian girl, we don't smile at you if we don't have anything to do with you. We would walk past you and you would see a fellow Nigerian or a fellow black man, and they would just walk past you because they don't know you, they don't care. And we don't have that sort of pretense in us that we'll just smile even if we don't want to smile. We would just literally just walk past. But the British people, they like to feel like they're nice. They like to portray themselves as nice people, so they would most often smile just for that courtesy thing, but it doesn't really mean that they really care about you. The fifth thing that I have learned from living in the UK for a decade is the fact that you have to get used to doing your own stuff. You have to get used to being independent. You have to get used to the fact that you're a woman, you're just as equal as a man. You have to get used to the fact that you can be walking down the street carrying 2 heavy loads and nobody will ask you, would you like a hand? Do you need me to help you? You have to get used to that. While in Nigeria, most of the time, when you're walking down the street or when you're moving, you would find people that would be like, oh sister, hey, that thing that you're carrying is heavy. Do you want me to help you? May I help you? May I give you a hand? Or when you're walking down the street and you're trekking, you would more often find someone that would want to give you a lift. That is like something that is not done here, except it's someone that you know. But while in Nigeria, a random person, I'm not saying it's safe, I'm not saying it's okay, but it's something that people would feel obliged to offer you, to give you a lift. If you say no, fair enough, that's fine, they would go by their business. But most often, people would offer to give you a lift or offer to help you. Or you're walking down the street here in the UK and you ask someone for a direction or a location. Most of the time, they would not even want you to finish. They will not let you to finish what you're saying, and they just be like, no, I don't know. Like, because they don't really care. But over in Nigeria, people are more obliged, people are more wanting to help out. We don't pretend to be nice, but we are actually nice people. But over here, what I notice is most of the British people, they pretend to be nice, but they are not nice people, honestly. This is This is just me being honest. So the sixth thing I have picked up, or I have learned from living in the UK for a decade, is the living conditions. So I know this might sound dead crazy to you, but I did not expect the living conditions I saw in the UK. Coming from Nigeria, I came over to the UK when I was a teenager, when I was quite young. But also I didn't really have too much view of how I expected the UK to be like, because I really had no clue. I was like really clueless before I came to the UK. But also I expected it to be a bit more like people should live in comfortable. I expected people to live a bit more comfortable, but that's not what you get here in the UK. Most of the time, when I first moved to the UK, I find most of the other students that rented an apartment, where they were living was awful. It was like my grandmother's onion room, like, you know. And you see people living in conditions of it's a house and then it's been sublet. So people are just living in that bedroom, and everything that you do, everything that you move around, it's inside that bedroom. And then you share the kitchen, you share the toilets. Those are not things that you often see or find in Nigeria. You know, comment down below if I'm wrong, but I did not see that in Nigeria, whereby different family, different people sharing just the house. It's maybe it's a 3-bedroom house, and sometimes the living room will be rented, so someone else will be living in the living room. The bedrooms, some different people will be living in the bedrooms, and then they're all sharing the kitchen, and they're all sharing the toilets, and there's literally no communal area. And whatever you're doing in that house, you're just in that 4 walls of your own room. That was not something I experienced coming from Nigeria. In Nigeria, you're either renting somebody's boys' quarter, which is at the back of the house, or you're renting a whole house, or you're renting a flat. But I never saw the fact of renting a whole house and then sub-renting the rooms. I never saw that in Nigeria. You know, correct me, I stand for correction. Correct me if I'm wrong, but personally, I never saw that. I never saw anybody living in those sort of conditions. So the living condition that I saw in the UK was far not what I expected. A lot of people, we kind of look at the UK as a place where you should be comfortable, where you should have what you want, where you can work, you see your money, you earn what you deserve, or hopefully you earn what you deserve, and you're able to live a better life for yourself. But most of the time, it's not what it is. It's not what it's portrayed as, guys. So really don't be deceived by all whatever you see in the movies, or whatever people that come from the UK come to Nigeria and they show you guys. Don't believe everything that you see. The 7th thing that I have learned from being in the UK for a decade is the accent. So when I moved to the UK, I noticed most of my friends back then, coming from my secondary school, did not know the difference that the United Kingdom has England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And most people would ask me, are you in England? I'm in the UK. So it can either be Scotland, it can be Wales, it can be Northern Ireland, it can be England. I'm not just in England alone. And there are so many different accents with the British people, with the Scottish people, with the Welsh people, with the Northern Ireland people. With the Irish people, there are so many different accents, even coming from where you live. There's the London accent, there's the Liverpool accent, the Scots, I love the Liverpool accent, the Birmingham accent, there's the North, there's the Welsh, there's the Scottish. They have different accents, and most people don't really realize that. So don't just look at the UK as just one body. They all speak alike, they all look alike, or they all have the same accent. they actually have different accents, and some of the accents actually sound very funny. Sometimes you encounter, or you come across some people from different parts of the United Kingdom, and you really cannot understand what they are saying because they have a sort of strong Scottish accent. And I have noticed personally, for me, I struggle to understand people from Scotland because the accent is very strong. So yeah, there are different accents, so don't get that twisted, don't get that confused. So the eighth thing that I have learned from being in the UK for a decade is the Sunday roast and the Christmas culture. So over here in the UK, Sundays are meant for roast dinners. You come round as a family. If you have a good family and all of you get along, everyone comes around, they have their roast dinner, they eat together on the table, and they have a good time. That is a normal British family, right? And they also have like a culture behind the Christmas time. Even I also notice most of the British people that don't believe in God, the atheists, and people that don't believe in anything, they also celebrate Christmas because it's like a culture thing. So Christmas, everybody buys presents, put up decorations, wait for Christmas Day, where the Christmas morning you do some certain things, you open your present, you put your present underneath the Christmas tree, which I believe, going to Nigeria over the Christmas period, I could see some of those Western or British culture being adopted in Nigeria. I noticed that my mom was now putting Christmas presents under the Christmas tree. She had her Christmas tree up, she had her Christmas decorations. Usually back when I was in Nigeria growing up, my mom would put up Christmas decorations, but there was nothing like putting Christmas presents under Christmas tree. There was nothing like Christmas presents, to be honest with you. If my mom will buy Christmas presents, it will be like before Christmas she'll buy you Christmas clothes, Christmas shoes, and then on Christmas Day you wear those Christmas clothes and Christmas shoes. But there was nothing like you opening your presents on Christmas morning or opening them on Boxing Day. There was nothing like that, absolutely. But I have noticed that Nigeria is beginning to adopt those culture. And coming over here, like even on the streets during Christmas time, they have Christmas lights on the streets. Those were culture that I was not used to. Those were things that I had to get used to. I had to, it was strange, it was different for me coming from Nigeria. So that's one thing that I wasn't used to. Another thing as well is the fact that the British people like to how would I put it? They like to be polite. They teach them. They want to see themselves as people that as a mother you have to teach your kids how to be polite, or as a father you have to teach your kids how to be polite. You have to teach your sons how to open the door for a lady. You have to teach your sons how to be like ladies first. You have to teach your daughters how to be polite to people, how to see everyone as equal. That is what they try to portray out there. You'll be on the phone with someone and they'll be like, oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. They are very easy to say I'm sorry, or they are very easy to say I'm afraid. Coming from Nigeria, that is not something that we do. We Nigerians, it's either no, I cannot do this, or yes, I'll do it for you. I don't feel like we Nigerians, we have to teach our kids how to be polite, because we are already polite. We already portray that attribute, and our kids just follow suit. Our kids just, because most of the time children copy what they see their parents do. My mother did not teach me to say thank you, sorry, and please. which is the culture here in the UK. You have to teach your kids how to say sorry, please, and thank you. It's like the magic words. That's what they call the magic words. There was no time that I can remember my mom telling me, what are the magic words again? Sorry, please, and thank you. It just came natural to me because those were the things that my mom did naturally. So she didn't have to point them out. She didn't have to instruct them for me to know that these are things that you do anyways. I think we Nigerians were just naturally polite. You take a man, especially you take a Nigerian man to see your parents, and they are just natural at it. They are just naturally polite. It's not something that we don't go out of our way to teach, because we already do those things, so we don't have to teach those things already, because your kids should then look at you. You should be a mirror image for your kids to be able to portray, to be able to carry on what is already engraved in them naturally. So I think we Nigerians were just naturally polite, naturally nice people, naturally brought up to know that these are your elders, these are your seniors. You know, it is engraved in us to know that this is your senior. When I was growing up, I always knew that my elder sister is my senior. When things are being handed out, she gets first. She gets to choose first. So those are the kind of culture that we have already. While over here, they would teach their kids to say sorry, to say please, to say thank you. And they would also go out of their way to try to be nice and polite, which is not natural. I don't know, it just doesn't come natural to them. So they have to try to adopt those things, which was something I found quite strange, because I find it strange for you to teach your kids to say thank you. Like when you're handed in something, my mom did not have to teach me to say thank you. You say thank you anyways, because if you don't say thank you, you know what is coming for you, you know. So it was just a different culture that I find. It was really different. The fact that you'll be on the phone with someone and they're like, oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. Why are you afraid? If you can't do it, you can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. No, you're not sorry though. You're just saying you're sorry because it's just something that you have to say. You don't have to say you're sorry. You don't have to be sorry. If it's something that you cannot do, you don't want to do, it's fine. I'm not holding a gun to your head to do something. It's just fine, you know. So sometimes it's just knowing that it is okay to say I cannot do it, or it is okay to say no, we don't offer that service, instead of trying to pretend to be nice when you're not actually nice. So that is something that I noticed with the British people a lot. There is a lot of pretense. They would smile at you, they would laugh at you, they would go behind you and stab you. And that is something that we Nigerians, coming from Nigeria, if I have a problem with you, I would tell you. I would not go behind you and talk about it. I would come to your face and tell you. I know that is seen as confrontational a lot of times, but that is what it is. And I'd rather you tell it to me. I'd rather you give it to me, rather than hearing it from outside. I rather know where I stand with you, if you know what I mean. And that brings me to the 10th point, which is also talking behind your back. I've actually gone into that topic. You get a lot of the time here, they will talk behind you. Like you get a lot of, and then when the person is coming, everybody goes quiet, or they change the topic. If you cannot speak in front of that person, then don't speak. If someone has offended you and you have an issue with that, speak to the person. And if you can't speak to the person, shut up. Just don't speak to them. Don't say it then, if you don't have the guts. And one thing I noticed that also leads to bullying. That is why moving to the UK, I heard of the word bullying for the first time in the UK. Living in Nigeria, I've never heard of that word bullying before. Throughout my time in Nigeria, I never knew that bullying was a thing. I never knew that you could get bullied. in Nigeria, looking at it now, I can see how you could get bullied in Nigeria, and I could see how bullying can be a thing, but we don't classify it as bullying. We were trained, we were brought up to know that you stand and you fight for your right. It's not something that I would not get beaten by my friends in school and then go home and dwell in it or cry over it. I would get beaten by my friends in school and I would fight them back, or I would I know this is crazy, but coming from Nigeria, I remember you get taught you either have mouths or strength. You either have bad mouths to fight for you, or you have the strength to fight for you. So you have to have one of those. And I fall in the group of the bad mouth bit. And I noticed that you will be told when someone look for your trouble, or when someone does something to you that you don't like, you give them a bit of your bad mouth, a bit, not all of it, a bit of your bad mouth, and that will and that is a way of you standing your grounds. I think that is why we're quite agile, and we can handle any situation, we can deal with any situation that comes. But also here in the UK, you find a lot of people are quite, I think because they have to try to be nice, or they have to pretend to be nice, and a lot of times they can easily get bullied, and in that situation can lead to so many different things. And that is because they have not been taught, or they were not brought up to know that you can actually stand, instead of dwelling in it, reporting it, you can actually give these bullies what they deserve, and they would literally run away. And one thing I've noticed with bullies is when you stand your ground with them, trust me, they are human beings too. They would back out, they would back down, they would run away, they would never come close to you again. And I think that is why I never saw it as bullying, or I never noticed any bullying when I was in Nigeria, because I knew that I had a piece of my bad mouth to give you if you do something that I don't like. And most of the time they will back down, they would leave you alone. So that was a way I was brought up to defend myself more of the time, rather than classifying it as bullying, dwelling in it, and letting it affect me in life. So those are the things that when I came over here, you could find a lot of celebrities, a lot of big people coming out to say, oh, I was actually bullied when I was in school, I was actually bullied as a teenager. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is such a big thing in the UK. This is something that I never thought existed. I've never heard of the word bullying before. So, you know, those are the cultures that even now, living here and being here for so long, I am actually now really worried of when I have kids here and they go to school. How am I going to bring them up to protect them against this bullying? How am I going to teach them to know that you should be strong, you should be agile enough to fight off these bullies, to kick them out of your way so they don't come back? How can I protect my kids from this? Because it now makes me think more of like seeing how it has affected people psychologically growing up. Even after all these years, they still remember these things. How is it that I can protect my kids from that? That is another culture that I never knew existed. So these are things I've actually learned, you know, from living here in the UK for a decade. As much as it can be a lot of stuff that you could say, okay, you're comfortable, you're independent, you're financially stable, hopefully, but also there are some other backside of it that I just wish I was never exposed to anyways. I just wish that I never got to know about these things. So yeah, hopefully I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. Comment down below, subscribe, tell me what you think about this video, tell me what you have noticed or what you have learned from living in the UK for how many years you have, if you were born here. Let's have a full conversation on the comments below. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.